Happy Memorial Day. Having a Schlafly Summer Lager. I've not had any of these before, so this will be a first. So, I just decided to come out here and barbecue. I've got some boneless ribs and some hot dogs that we're gonna have. I've also got some zucchini. I just put in there zucchini with garlic and herb seasoning, Lipton soup mix stuff. Pretty good. Ellis style. So far this weekend, we have mowed, trimmed, and cleaned up 3 yards, and also went over to the Schuster Cemetery and cleaned it up. I'll show you before and after pictures of that right now. It's quite a bit smaller cemetery, so it is a lot easier to go after than the big one that I'm talking about trying to do. I would still like to get that cleaned up, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. It's just so overgrown right now. But I do have one of those heavy-duty string trimmers. I do have one of those that I'm going to buy from a friend of mine. $250. I thought, it's better than $400. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to do there. Hopefully try to get that out this fall maybe and get that cleaned up some. I think if we got a head start on it next spring, perhaps it could actually be taken care of. We do have to go over to the other cemetery, and I'm going to take some D2 or wet and forget and spray the stones to get rid of the algae and the lichen. Now, if anybody I know, especially in New Zealand, if any of you guys have used the wet and forget at all for anything, please let me know in the comments down below. I know it's in the United States it's relatively new, but I think in New Zealand I think they've had it for like 30 years now. And I know it's used for a lot of the historical sites in New Zealand and actually down in Florida here, but it seems like everybody who does any kind of grave site restoration or whatever and stuff is afraid to use this stuff, and I would just like to know what your thoughts or your input is on that. So I can get D2, but it's like $42 a gallon, whereas the wet and forget is more like $16 for, I think it's a quart or something like that. But you dilute it, so I think people some dilute the D2 as well, but it's like $42 a gallon. Plus, I'm going to have to pay for shipping, probably from Pennsylvania or Wisconsin, so you can imagine what shipping on a gallon's worth of weight is going to be. So, just give me your thoughts and inputs down below. Did with the zucchini is I just actually put it in pie trays with aluminum foil over the top of it, but it's just zucchini that's like cut up in like half pieces or whatever, chunks, and drizzled with olive oil and then that seasoning on top. This is actually pretty good beer. I did get some stuff the other day and I put it on Facebook, and I cannot remember. Snapper is the name of it. It's from a brewing company in Columbia, Missouri, but it's an IPA. Oh my god. This stuff is like off the chart bitter. I know it's only 68 IBUs, but it is bitter. I mean, it's good, but boy, if you like bitter IPAs, this is a good one to get if you can possibly get it wherever it is that you live. I did brew, and I'll put some footage of that up as well. It may be another week or so, but I'd probably like to rack it over or whatever before I actually start finishing up the video. But I brewed a Drop Your Top Amber Ale. It's a drop top clone is what it is. It is one of the beers that I actually sent to Steel Jan when she was still on YouTube. But unfortunately, the Party Pig company, and I can't remember what the name of it, starts with a Q, is going out of business after 23 years. So I went and got the Party Pigs because I thought, well, that'd be an easy way to keg this stuff without having to go to all the trouble to get a CO2 tank and everything else. But unfortunately, they are going out of business, so getting supplies will be pretty much impossible. They might have a run of them now, I don't know. You just get what's left over and that's it. But, so I mean, I have 2 kegs. I have the disconnects. I have the party tap. The only thing I need is the CO2 tank and also the regulator. I have a regulator that I bought off of eBay probably 20 years ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago. I don't know if it actually even works, but I thought, well, I'll just buy a new one, no big deal. So, if you have any recommendations for regulators, I know there's like Taprite and some other brand, I can't remember what it is. Give me your opinions on that as well below. So like I said, I have 2 5-gallon kegs already, so that is taken care of. So I don't have to get the kegs. And I think I had talked to, glasses are filthy. I talked to Praxair, which is a, like an oxygen and a specialty gas company. They're in Jeff City, and I can buy a tank, a 5-pound tank, which I'm not going to brew that much, so I'm not going to need like a 20-pound thing. I could buy a 5-pound tank for $112, I believe it was, and then the refills are like, I think they said 25, but somewhere around in there and stuff. So I think after I get that I'll be pretty much set. I actually pulled one of those kegs down that has been up in the closet in there for probably 6 or 7 years at least, and it's actually, I pulled the relief valve on it, and it's actually still got CO2 in it, so I know that the seals are still good. I'll go ahead and buy replacement seals just in case anyway, but give me your recommendations. What kind of setup do you have for your tank and your CO2 and everything like that? I'm torn between using the corn sugar to naturally carbonate and actually force carbing. I really don't know which one I'd rather go with. I kind of like they say that the corn sugar, you know, if you carbonate with that, actually kind of has a better mouthfeel to it. But since I've not actually had a keg forced carbed beer, well, besides what you get on tap at like the local bar or whatever, I've never had a homebrew that was forced carb, so I don't know. What would be your suggestion? Again, comments down below. It's gonna be full of comments, isn't it? Oh, and I did marinate this in the Ancho Cocoa Quarter. I had 2 bottles left. One of them has to go to Andrew, if somebody would please PM me his home address. Scared the hell out of the dog. It's taking a long time to send him his beer, but yum. Here's that really hoppy IPA I was telling you about. Yeah, maybe you can see it. It's a snapper. My nephew looked up the IBUs on some of the hops on here and stuff. There's 2 of them that they listed are 15%, so it's like no wonder it's hoppy. It's very piney and very resinous. Very bitter. It is made by the Logboat Brewing Company, and I believe it's Columbia, Missouri. Yep, Columbia, Missouri. So if you like bitter IBUs, just go look for a snapper. Shameless plug for Logboat Brewing Company, Columbia, Missouri. And I'm going to turn this down. Let's go ahead and let it cook real slow. Oh, bark. Badass. I want pork! Steaming. That's good. There we go. I think what I'm going to do now is put this right over the flame, so I think they look just a little. There we go. There's one now. These are really good. If you haven't tried the Lipton garlic and herb, you really ought to try it. And I think what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to turn this off on the direct heat. After years of cooking, I pretty much have heat-proof hands. There we go.